What if I told you that a single player's attitude could decide whether the Brisbane Broncos rise back into premiership contention or collapse under the weight of expectation? That's not exaggeration, that's the brutal truth facing the Broncos right now. And at the center of it all? A man named Hunt. See, games aren't always won by the biggest hits or flashiest tries. Sometimes, they're won in the quiet moments, in the attitude, the grit, and the steel behind the eyes of a playmaker who refuses to fold. And as the Broncos prepare to raid Canberra and face the Raiders in what's shaping up to be a season-defining clash, the question lingers, does Hunt have the mental edge to carry Brisbane over the line, or will Canberra expose cracks the Broncos thought they'd already patched up? Stay with me, because what's about to unfold is more than just a game, it's a test of character, pride, and survival. Before we dive in, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and lock into Aussie NRL Updates, your #1 spot for deep dives, bold takes, and stories the headlines don't tell you. The Broncos have history on their side, but history doesn't win football games, attitude does. And in this Canberra raid, they need to be sharp. The Raiders aren't a team that rolls over. They thrive on chaos, they thrive on grinding opponents down, and they thrive on exposing any weakness. That's where Hunt comes in. For months now, the whispers around Red Hill haven't just been about his skill set, it's been about his mindset. Coaches, teammates, even fans know Hunt has the ability. But does he have the composure? The ruthlessness? The consistency to lead this team through hostile territory? This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about how a player's attitude shapes a game. And for Hunt, this Canberra clash could define his season, maybe even his career. Now, let's talk about Canberra. The Raiders aren't in the business of giving away easy wins, especially at home. Playing in the nation's capital means hostile fans, bitter cold, and a pack of forwards who hit like freight trains. Ricky Stuart has his men primed for one thing, intimidation. The Raiders thrive on dragging teams into a scrap. They'll target Hunt. They'll put bodies on him. They'll look for hesitation, for doubt. Because here's the truth, if they rattle Hunt, they rattle the entire Broncos structure. But if Hunt digs in? If his attitude holds? Then Brisbane doesn't just survive, they thrive. Think back on Hunt's journey so far. He's had highs that showed brilliance and lows that tested resilience. The critics have always been there, quick to remind him of past mistakes. But here's the kicker, those mistakes forged the player we see now. The question is, has he truly turned the corner? That's why this Canberra clash is more than 2 points on the ladder. It's about redemption. It's about Hunt standing tall against the noise, against the pressure, and against the bruising wall of green that the Raiders bring. And here's where it gets fascinating, the Broncos' entire finals push could hinge on how Hunt handles just one night in Canberra. One wrong move? It spirals. One bold stand? It inspires. But how exactly can Hunt's attitude shift the balance of power? And what game plan are the Broncos crafting to break through Canberra's fortress? Stick with me, because the strategy behind this raid will shock you. Alright, so we've set the scene. Hunt's attitude isn't just a subplot, it's the headline. The Broncos are plotting a raid on Canberra, but the real battle is in Hunt's head. Now let's peel back the layers and see exactly how this clash could unfold. The Broncos know the Raiders will come hard through the middle. Papali'i, Hotspur, and Tapine, they're battering rams. That means Brisbane's halves, Hunt included, need to control tempo. Quick shifts, smart kicking, and above all, composure under fire. This is where Hunt's attitude becomes the hinge point. If he's calm, measured, and ruthless, the Broncos can keep Canberra chasing shadows. But if he hesitates, if he lets frustration creep in, the Raiders will feed on it. They'll slow the ruck, force errors, and drag Brisbane into a dogfight. The Broncos don't want a dogfight. They want control. And control starts in the mind. Let's not forget Ricky Stuart. He's a master of the mental game. You better believe the Raiders will have a blueprint for rattling Hunt. Cheap shots late in the tackle. Verbal niggle after every play. Kicks turned into pressure cookers. It's not just football, it's psychological warfare. And the Raiders will bet big that Hunt can't stand up to it. That's their gamble. That's their weapon. But what if they're wrong? What if Hunt thrives in the fire? Picture this, middle of the second half, game in the balance, Raiders fans in full voice. Hunt takes the ball, eyes the line, and instead of folding, he slices through, creating the spark that flips momentum. That moment doesn't come from skill alone. It comes from attitude. From choosing to rise when every bone in your body screams to shrink. That's what this clash is about, the split-second decisions where attitude defines destiny.